Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to welcome back State Senator Dr. Alan Bates. Senator, good to see you. How are you?
Good to be back home.
It's been a whirlwind morning. I know you're coming back late last night. So let's talk about this crazy session you guys just wrapped up last night. Where do you go from here?
Well, I think that the word you used, crazy, was right. I've been in about 20 sessions, regular and special, and this was the most unusual and craziest session I've ever been in. We start the session off with a governor resigning, and we spend a great deal of time figuring out how to deal with recreational marijuana. If you told me those would both come in the same session, I'd say you were crazy, or maybe you're smoking something. But it's all there. And in between, we did a lot of really good work for schools, for higher ed. We had a couple of failures, but for the most part, we had a really good session.
And what are you most proud of that you guys were able to accomplish?
Probably the biggest thing I think that I like the most is we've just about guaranteed free community colleges for everybody who wants to in the state. If you're a recent graduate from high school, you can get a Pell Grant. We're going to fill the rest of it for you. We basically have made community colleges now free tuition for Oregonians. If you're a really high-end family, it doesn't apply. But for everybody else, you don't have to be going for a 4-year degree either. We're talking about trades and other things you can get trained in to have a real job. That was a really big bill. We got that through. It was a lot of work to do it. There were other bills that were important. Sick pay bill for everybody in the state that has more than 10 employees will get sick pay now, or earn time, whatever one you want to have. Those kind of things we pushed through. Really important bills. I think for the most part we did a good job. K-12 got adequate funding, not great funding, but adequate funding. We bumped them up real big time last year, or last session I should say. We've put a bump on that again, not a lot. And so things financially we thought were working pretty well. And we had to work around the kicker. We're going to spend probably $250 million of money that we normally would have spent on services or putting in the bank are going back to kicker to the people this year too. So they'll see that as a tax credit in the next filing.
Yeah, certainly a lot of people excited about that. And you mentioned sick pay. That was a partisan bill, that one.
Yes.
And we saw, obviously, it is a Democrat-dominated legislature right now. We often heard from Republicans how partisan it was. Did you see it that way, or did you see the two sides working together?
On this particular bill, I think we could have made it better. I was in favor of going from 15 to 25, as 25 employees or more. We didn't get that compromise through. We also, in that 25, wanted to open it up that the preemption on minimum wage would go away so that individual communities could make a decision on what a minimum wage should be. Obviously, a minimum wage for Portland is going to be higher because of the cost of living than it is for, say, Medford or Eugene or Bend. And we didn't get those things done. I think we're going to go back and try to tweak those in February, too, and see if we can get both sides to come together a little bit. And, the Republicans were asking for 50. The very strongly progressive wanted 0. I think the number was about 25. There was some other stuff in there, but we couldn't get the votes for it.
Okay, so let's talk about, let's go back to marijuana. Certainly we could spend the entire time talking about that.
We could spend hours.
It's July 7th now, so
yes.
we've had almost a week now. Are you confident that the state is ready for this, that you guys were able to get enough done?
I think the job that was done was really outstanding. We actually sent people to Colorado and Washington to see what their problems were and how to deal with it. Long, involved meetings and putting together, ending of a prohibition like this is huge, much more complicated than people think. You've got growers and users on one side wanting no regulations, and people on the other side wanting it tightened down as much as possible. You had issues of local control versus state control, and then the taxing issue. And what we ended up with, I think, is a good compromise for most places. A city can decide where, how, and when they want to have dispensaries. In a county that didn't vote for medical marijuana, not medical, but recreational marijuana, they can actually ban it if they want to by a vote of the people again, so we're not going to have it in our county. I remember the days we had dry counties, people didn't have alcohol. So those kind of things have worked their way through. I think over the next 2 or 3 sessions, we'll be tweaking these laws as we learn more and do more. A couple of big issues still remain. We've elected, wisely, I believe, that the place we're going to tax is at the point of sale. So this is, strangely enough, Oregon's first sales tax.
Yeah. which is taboo for legislators to say those words together.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, that just come out of my mouth. And
times have changed.
Yeah, it has. And then what do you do with the money? Okay, none of the banks want to touch it. We're going to have Revenue Department talking about bigger and heavier safes, about more security. This is going to be a multi-million-dollar, maybe even $1 billion industry. And I can tell people up north that, Southern Oregon is sort of the golden triangle. This is one of the best places, if not the best place in North America to raise marijuana. It's going to be a big business down here. It's going to be open. It's going to happen. We need to control this so it doesn't get out of hand. My biggest concern was grows inside cities and ruining neighborhoods. We already have that. We want to get that back under control. I'm hoping what we'll ultimately see is farms dedicated to marijuana, where you control the pesticides and herbicides and the quality, and we do testing and we make sure it's a good product for people who want to use marijuana one way or the other. And we'll work that through over the next probably 2 to 4 years. We didn't do everything just right. I know we didn't.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but it's a huge step forward, and we've learned a lot from the other states.
Very good, Senator Bates. Good to see you again. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.